I recently ran a video talking about the Toyota BZ4x and what an amazing vehicle it is. Of course, it isn't. That's just the spin that the express.co.uk came up with, and it's crazy talk. But it got me thinking, from some of the great comments you guys left, what are some actual reasons people might buy this car on purpose? And we've got a few to discuss. I'm Brian. Welcome to Futuraza. I am joined, as I so often am, by my buddy Mark, who is joining me all the way from the Great White North itself, the land of milk and maple syrup.
Humidity.
I don't know. I'll be honest.
Of milk and humidity today.
Humidity. Yes. And the best part is it's milk humidity. It's very bitter. But hey, we're going to have some fun. Mark is a host of the Tesla Life podcast along with Casey and Patrick. It's a great show, desperately underappreciated. You guys can go check it out. Link in the description. So getting into it, this recently with my good friend Randy Kirk, we made this video about the Toyota BZ4x. And in the comments, people were saying this feels like it was paid for, like it was maybe that the headline was determined and then some poor sap had to fill in the details. And I said, even with that, I could have done better, even if some of my answers might have wound up being a tad cynical. So
really, a tad cynical.
Well, it depends on which ones. So I asked Mark to help me come up with some legitimate reasons, genuine reasons why someone would buy this vehicle. What was the biggest one you came up with, Mark?
My number one answer was brand loyalty.
Brand loyalty all the way, for sure. Have you ever known someone who owned a Toyota with really high miles?
Yes.
Of course, we all have. They famously go for a long, long time. Now, not all models do. My friend had an FJ Cruiser. He decided, I'm going to keep this thing forever. I'm going to put a new stereo in it. Hell, if I want ostrich leather seats, I'm doing it because it's going to run forever. It's a great truck. Always takes it to the dealer for service. And then one day, with no lights or any warning, the motor blew. And he was furious. And his $20,000 truck instantly became worth $5,000. So brand loyalty will only get you so far. Guess what they bought? Okay, they bought another Toyota, but that's not the point. So maybe if they went electric, that brand loyalty would be sufficiently persistent. What's another one?
My number two is they work for Toyota.
That I loved it. Of all the things we discussed, that one was not on my list, but Toyota has a lot of employees, Mark. And especially if, if you're the wife of the owner of a Cadillac dealership, guess what? You probably drive a Cadillac. And this is, if you're an employee and you get an employee discount or, that's a very good answer.
It can also be that it's not direct employee, but you're with a supplier that supplies Toyota. So that breaks out into many other groups.
That expands the number dramatically, but there are more Toyota employees than there are Toyota BZ4x ever manufactured. So right there, you got a decent bit of it. You had a longer list, but I think there was only one or two more that I really liked. What was your next one?
Number three was they enjoy retorquing wheel nuts.
Okay, now that's not a reason. That's not a reason you can retorque wheel nuts. You've gone off. I can't believe it. This is a very serious show, Mark.
I could have swore it wasn't, but okay.
It's anyone who has watched this show less than once might mistake it for a very serious show. But we've got the brand loyalty. We've got so what was another one you had?
I had, they never drive the vehicle when it's below 32 degrees Fahrenheit.
That's super cynical. Okay, so I'm going to, I guess, commandeer the ship for a moment. There are people who really want their buttons, their stalks, and a lack of yoke. If you really want blinkers and it's a deal breaker, you're not going to buy that Tesla. The Model Y is the only one left that still has the stalks. So and that one's not long for this world. We believe there's a refresh coming within the next 6 to 10 months. Would you, if you really want blinkers and stocks and buttons everywhere, it's an easy choice.
Yeah, it is. And again, that's kind of the brand loyalty thing. People are used to certain things and they know the next generation is coming with them and they want to stick with what they know.
I get it. I don't hate the idea. I've got a video coming up about sexy buttons, the buttons that allow you to add functionality to your Tesla. And they've got a few different products. One is just the regular buttons. There's 4 of them or 6, depending on which configuration you get. And on that, you can assign functions to the buttons. You can open the glove box. You can turn off the air conditioning in the back seat. Maybe the people are too cold. You can give them their own seat warmer buttons. You can do all kinds of things. And the problem is a button doesn't just cost $5. Oh, buttons are $5. Give me all my buttons. Right. But how many buttons are we talking? And it isn't $5 because you got to do the engineering, the validation, the wiring harness, the installation. It is a big cost, and it is better to reduce as much as you can. But again, the big thing is the button you want and the button I want may be different. But some cars, Mercedes specifically, really has a lot of buttons. Another big one that I had was maybe they just really don't like Daddy Bad Tweet.
Could be it too. Absolutely.
I have met those people. I have not just met them casually, but these are people I've known for a long time. And it's not just, ultra far lefties. I know Republicans who find Elon personally distasteful to such a visceral degree that they will not support Tesla. And they might buy. I mean, the list is long before you get to the Toyota, but they might buy the Toyota. And I think that's a weird decision, but thousands of people have made that decision. Maybe not for this reason, but there are people who don't like him. Have you encountered those?
Absolutely. Actually, Casey and Patrick and I have all met those type of people that just cannot support what Elon is about. And therefore, Tesla is out of their wheelhouse because of it.
Now, that's unfortunate, but it's the reality. And I've had people push back when I've said that on X and say, well, if they want an inferior car, great, let them. So, right, but that's human nature. You're asking humans to not do the things humans do, and that's just how humans are. When Elon got upset about advertisers not wanting to participate and told them to GFY, which is a very less colorful way than he phrased it, you forget it goes both ways. They're also able to say that right back. And you don't get mad at people for not buying the car. Well, but, in my neighborhood, the conservatives are all buying Teslas. I've looked for the data and I've yet to find it. If that's true, please share with me the data. Everything I do is data driven. I need to see that actually happen. Well, they're considering them. Okay, well, they need to actually buy them because it's cool that they're considering. But I did have one other good reason I found. Two actually. I'll start with the little one. Stay tuned because my last one is a real cynical humdinger, but it's a good one. One good one, and actually I think this was might have been yours, is there's no service center where I live. For me, I'm an hour from the nearest service center. That's not ideal, but it's fine. I'm in a smaller town. There's a lot of things that don't exist in my town. I don't have a Costco. That's worse. I'd rather have a Costco than a service center. But Iowa Jim, I think, is 2.5, 3 hours from his service center. You know who I'm talking about? Jim, the Iowa Tesla guy. I'm pretty sure it's him, where he made a video showing the process of them towing his car to the dealership. And then they call you and say it's done. And you're like, well, great. I'm 3 hours away, my friend. So this is going to be a whole day to get my car back. That's unfortunate, and I can see why people wouldn't want to do that. Any thoughts on that?
How far, Brian, would it be for you to have to rethink? If it was 2 hours, if it was 3 hours, Is there a time period where you'd say, I just can't do it? It's a 5-hour journey. I just can't do it.
I would say, so my first answer was no, I'm fine either way. 5 hours, I'm out. I'm absolutely out. It's somewhere between 2 and 5, and it might be 3.5 would be my cutoff.
Yeah.
How about you?
I know. I weighed the option when Tesla came out. I was about an hour away, but I knew they were building one 20 minutes away. So I got involved with it before the new one was built, but I knew it was coming. So I didn't have an issue with it. But I would have an issue at 2 hours, I think. 2.5 hours. I think that's one-way journey. That's an awful long way to go. You're right. There's not a lot of service that I've experienced, but sometimes it is needed.
Yes. And well, it's great, but they've got mobile techs. Do they? Because they don't come to where I live.
Yeah.
If I was assured mobile techs, then yeah, I don't care if you're 15 hours away. It's not me doing the driving.
Yep.
And I have heard of situations in smaller areas, in less populated areas, where they'll say, we're going to have a service tech, a mobile tech at this borrowed location, somebody else's shop, and he's going to be there for 2 days. Everybody schedule it for those 2 days, and you can just bring it in for minor stuff there. You know, it's a little latch is rattling or something like that, and he'll just bang them all out that weekend or those 2 days. But there's no guarantee. That's not a promise. That's a courtesy, and you never know. You can't count on that.
And that's not a surprise repair either. That's something you can live with. That's something that's not a big deal. You know, overall, it's not a big deal.
Right. That is exactly right. So you ready for the humdinger, the big one, the reason everyone stuck around, the big cynical?
Let's have it.
You're going to love this. You are guaranteed to get a good car or your money back. You see, my friend bought a Chevy Volt, and she had a problem with the battery, and they couldn't quite diagnose it. So you know what they did? It had been 1.5 years that she had driven this car. They just rescinded her purchase. They took the car back and gave her back all of her money.
Wow.
This is a thing that happens sometimes. You remember when the Bolt recall happened, they were giving people the option of just give us the car back and we'll pretend this never happened. So when you buy this Toyota, you will either get a good car or maybe just your money back. Because they've got enough money. This is a rounding error. They will make you whole.
That's a good point. That's a good point.
Deeply cynical, but I think that's the reason so many of these manufacturers are slow to roll out these new vehicles is if there is a catastrophic fleet-wide problem that cannot be fixed at a reasonable price, it won't sink us. We're not all in. It's just a toe in the water.
That's interesting. I kind of did that myself with my first electric vehicle back in 2014. I took over someone's lease. So I was only on the hook for 9 months. And I got to learn whether or not I could live with an electric car, if it made sense for me, and I could make the choice in that period of time. So I kind of did that myself by buying someone's lease.
I love it. I love it. And what happened at the end of the lease?
About 3 weeks into the lease, I knew I would never go back to gas again.
Oh, wow. So based on the year, I'm guessing that was a Leaf.
It was a Chevy Volt.
Oh, with a V. Oh,
with a
okay.
V. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Well, you know, for the vintage, that was a very good car. Those drove nice. They looked, I thought, nice, especially for the year. I think the styling was pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
And it was a good, I think you called it a gateway drug.
That's right. That's
Yeah.
right. The more you drove electric, the more you wanted to.
I'm not entirely opposed to hybrids. My friend who bought another Toyota did not buy an EV. He bought the Highlander hybrid. And he did that because I asked him why. Why not electric? He said, they don't make an electric car big enough for my family that I can afford. The R1S is smaller than the Highlander, but it would work. But it's twice the price. Same with the Model X. It's big enough. It's twice the price. Maybe not, pretty close to twice the price. Maybe not quite, but a very wide gap in in what you get for the money on that vehicle because they have to put giant batteries in them. So
Yep.
not always ideal. Do you have any bonus ones you wanted to throw in?
No, my cynical jar is already empty.
I'm gonna guess you'll refill it before next week. Oh my gosh. Yeah. And so again, the whole premise of this was if we were tasked to honestly write the article, we wouldn't say that the Toyota's less expensive like the author did, because it isn't. Certainly not in the US where there's a tax credit, but even in Europe, they were comparing a base model that is not comparable to what the Model Y offers. That's not a real reason. It's got so many advantages, the supercharging network, the over-the-air updates, the efficiency, the 0 to 60, the range, it's all better. So I don't know how much weight you put on those factors, but there you go. In the comments, what do we miss? What do we misunderstand? I don't know. I'm asking. Please, I beg of you, tell me. And double check that you're subscribed, because my buddy Jeff just told me that in the last week he checked twice, and both times YouTube had unsubscribed him. So please double check, because that's happening again. And make sure it says that you are already subscribed. I appreciate it. This is ridiculous, but you know, I've mentioned before that YouTube is not but the devil, and they live up to that reputation, apparently with pride. It's kind of their jam, so good on them for staying true to themselves, the devil. Everybody else, like, subscribe, do what you do. Stay tuned, stay juicy, and I cannot wait to hear from you clever robots on the next one.